Probably the number one question that we get, and whenever we do surveys, is how do I regain focus? How do I get that focus back for all of this lack of clarity that I have? Hey, it's Stevie with Business on Purpose. Make sure you check us out. We have got an entirely updated information on our website, mybusinessonpurpose.com. Also, subscribe to our iTunes, our podcast on iTunes, and also our YouTube channel. We're putting out content every single week right now. I think it'd be a huge value to you in your business. So the question is, how do we regain focus? And so I want to welcome you to this online presentation of how to regain focus. My wife and I were at a gala recently. It was a socially distant, sparse crowd celebrating the cultural change of Martin Luther King Jr. And a business owner came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm reading your book, and I want you to know that I feel like you've written that directly to me." And I thought, well, that's certainly kind. Thank you so much. And so I was curious, and I just simply asked, what particularly in the book made you feel that way? And her response, I'm in constant chaos. We regularly poll our clients and those who attend our in-person live events and online workshops. And the number one piece of feedback we receive from every business owner and key leader is, I cannot focus. I just can't do it. Focus itself is actually an interesting word. It carries with it the idea of clarity, center, core, bullseye, somewhere in that range. And we blame the current culture all the time of screens, screams, and scram. Try to get the SC together. The truth is, we don't have to scroll the screens. We don't have to turn on the news and the screams. We don't have to do everything that we do and have been invited so that we start to scram and all of the sports and activities and invitations and everything else. We don't have to go to all of those things. Hundreds of years ago, the word focus was synonymous with a fireplace in a home, a hearth that was the center of a room where people would gather. Now, I got to admit to you, I'm known in my little friendship circle as the fire whisperer. I love a controlled fire. One of my favorite places on earth is wherever there's an outdoor fire that we can sit and stare at. I've heard it called nature's TV before, and I think it's very, very true. I can't stop staring at a fire. In fact, I'm drawn to it, constantly stoking this dancing stage of contorted and vivid flames, never the same shape or rhythm, and yet it's in constant motion. It's a constant show. Business owners tell us they feel like they're constantly trying to put out little fires that always exist in their business. But what if those little fires are not threats to the business, but instead are lights along the path towards the vision that has been laid out? What if those are fires not meant to be extinguished, but instead are torch to light the path to real destination? Listen, we can't focus because we don't want to put in the effort to focus. It takes work. Now, please don't be offended, but for most of us, save our first responders, whose job is to intentionally respond to chaos and to chaos, but outside of our first responders, we react to chaos because, quite honestly, it makes us feel needed. It makes us feel harrowed. Robert Cardinal Sarah, in his book, The Power of Silence, says, without noise, or what I would term as chaos, man is feverish, lost. Noise gives him security, like a drug on which he's become dependent. Noise is a whirlwind that avoids facing itself. We get to tell people when they ask how we're doing, wow, I've just been so busy. But I want us to understand that busy is not envied. Busy is not the goal. Helpful, meaningful, transformational, impactful, useful, those are worthy goals. Busy, it's just busy. So how do we stop succumbing to busy? Well, it's with silence. Because, see, we've got this addiction with feeling needed. And chaos brings that idea of feeling needed. We're able to rush in like a superhero, and instead of being content in who we've been made to be, we rush into chaos. So we've got to introduce more silence into our day-to-day. Sarah goes on to say, without the capacity for silence, man or woman is incapable of hearing, loving, and understanding the people around him or her. Clarity is born of silence. Think about that. Clarity is born of silence. Do you want clarity? Well, you'll need to make time for silence. That Sarah contends leads to a heart that is able to hear, to listen, and to welcome. Once you go silent, you will begin to hear the things that truly matter instead of just the things that are busy. Silence used to be a societal value, but now noise has assumed the podium. But you can take it back. You can gain clarity that you're looking for. You just have to create the silence. You need to do things like writing down what you ultimately want or keeping a log of what your week actually looks like. Not just work, but what are you actually doing during that time? And then we've got to create small, intentional space for silence because silence leads to clear-headedness. So write down what you want. Write down what you actually do. And then create space for silence. In fact, I would challenge you right now, just as some of you are listening to this, we do these on Facebook Live. This also goes on our podcast and our YouTube channel, but wherever you're at right now, my guess is if you got a phone call from somebody saying, hey, can you come do this? You would respond. So how about I give you a 3-minute challenge? Hey, will you do this? And let's see if you respond to that. And that is, as soon as we're done, I want you to sit wherever you're at for 3 minutes of silence so that you can cut the chaos. We'll see you next time right here on the Business on Purpose podcast and also the YouTube channel as you try to work on creating clarity and regaining your focus.